Call the meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. And I would ask for a motion to approve the minutes from our February 1st meeting.
Second, yeah. Third,
Any
whatever.
discussion of those minutes at all?
Nope.
Everybody good? All in favor?
Aye.
All right. So we have a application for Kraus that Julia was going to do, I guess?
Yes. And
And I saw it
Catherine
online.
gave you hard copies. It was also emailed to you.
I saw that.
Yeah. So this one's pretty straightforward. It's, the owners are Linda and Chuck Kraus. If you refer to the sheet that I put a little map in there, but most of you know Hilo. Okay, so it's near West Neck Bay, which is in the nearshore overlay, obviously a sensitive area. It's owner occupied. It's their primary residence, 2 people. For most of the year, and 1 month a year, they have 2 guests. So there are approximately four persons only during 1 month. They have a conventional septic. It's about 14 years old. It was put in by Shelter Island Sand and Gravel. They also maintain their septic, so they have it pumped regularly, and the last pump out was 2022. It's a voluntary upgrade. They have well water. They did not provide a water test. I checked with Catherine to make sure that wasn't the case, but they didn't have and then the owner also confirmed that. I spoke with the owners just to make sure that they're clear on the rebate conditions, that there's no immediate plans for any upgrades or renovations in their home in the next 3 or more years. They're putting in a Fuji Sen 4. Sen 4? Oh, sorry.
Sen 5.
So I'm looking at, Sen 7. Sorry, I'm looking at my own sheet and I'm saying something. Okay, so yeah, they're putting in a Fuji Sen 7. They will reuse the existing leaching pools. They've applied for both the county and the state grants. They do have a pH adjustment system in their home because that's always on our application. They noted that. Everything else was in order. The insurance, C of O, ownership was verified. I checked all that in the file. Their estimated nitrate reduction is 10.9 kilograms per year. The gallons of effluent treated annually is 62,400 gallons returned. And the 5-year rate of investment on the cost per kilogram is 110 kilograms of nitrate taken out within 5 years. And they don't foresee any issue with having to relocate the well, but as we've all seen, sometimes things come up. So I would recommend on this one, just in case, to put aside 4,000, but again, only if they need the well relocated. They are not going to be doing a PSD. And so based on the information and the location, obviously, of their property, and the age of the septic and, our drive to get as many of these in the ground as possible, I would like to recommend that we approve them for 12,000. And again, just to put aside the 4,000 if we need anything for the well. Second.
Any discussion further than that?
Were they going to wait until they can get the county approval to go, or how did that conversation
Yes,
go?
that was part of my conversation with Chuck, and he said it's not too much of an issue. They are aware of, that the funds are starting to run out for county, but they would still like to proceed.
Okay, so they'll proceed, applied for the county grant, and I guess when I had the last one, and that they will abandon the county grant because
If need be, yeah.
they can't get it. So that's 10,000 out of their pocket, basically, yes?
I
Well,
did
it
bring
would
it
be.
up to them, so, yeah.
And the Sen 7, I guess, that seems okay. It is 4 bedrooms.
Yes. And I double checked with the owner. I said, just to make sure that they're very clear that they cannot build out. And he said they have no immediate intentions to do anything over the next 3 or 4 years, so.
And considering how much is out of pocket, that's already,
Yeah.
Well, he was one of the ones at our Green Expo, recall. He was trying to get other people in Hilo to do it.
Yeah.
So maybe this is his way of doing it.
Yeah.
So, man.
Anyone else have any?
That was my only question.
No other discussion, so everybody okay with it?
Yeah, I'm in favor.
So just to clarify the motion again, it would be to grant Lyndon Charles Kraus of 34 Highwell Drive for pre-approve them for 12,000 plus to hold on reserve 4,000 if the well needs relocation. Good? Okay.
That was so moved, and I'll second if it needs a second. Did we already have a
We
second?
did it. We already voted.
James was.
Voted on it. I didn't raise my hand, did I?
Oh, Betty was.
Very seconded.
Okay, well,
Okay. Thank you.
works for me. It's okay. Let them rip.
And Catherine, I'll send that over to you like tonight or tomorrow.
All right, so the next thing, we have a request for a rebate request. This is for, well, I'll start with Mitchell because that's what I have in front of me.
Mitchell was the one that we heard about this today, right? They came,
Today, what?
Right, I did
the
come.
email came today.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Oh, I get what you're saying.
Well, there's no total here, except I just tried to add it up while we were
The total
talking.
is
49,
29,671.57. Is that what you get?
well, 671.57, that's what that would be minus after you minus
Right,
out.
right.
But the total for the whole project was 49,671.
Right.
So yeah, it would be 29,671.57 is what they're asking for.
We had given, I did that application, so I know we had said 12,000 plus the 4,000 for the well. My only issue with this application is I'm not sure that she filled in all the paperwork. Like, I didn't see the well registration for the town. I didn't see the survey with the green stamp on it or the rebate checks from the county and I mean, she claims that she received them, but there were no copies of those in the paperwork.
Well, of all those, that's probably the least of the problem, I guess, but.
This is Mitchell?
Mitchell.
This is
Yeah.
Mitchell.
I thought I saw it. I thought I saw those things in there, but I'm
Oh, let's look again.
I'm looking right now.
voting. I didn't even know I'm voting.
Mainly, she paid out.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, but none of the other,
In the file, is there any other stuff?
No.
Then we need to,
So I think I jumped the gun on sending this to you guys.
so we should put this until perhaps the next meeting, and perhaps the rest of the documentation will come in.
Yeah, well, I just identify which documentation is missing, and
It appears the green stamp, for one,
it sounds like Betty,
well registry.
well registry, and then also that she should have a copy
Of the
of
grants.
of the grants, yes.
County and state grants.
Yeah, it's the survey with the green stamp, Catherine.
Yeah.
Lang. Let's go completely backwards.
That's total, $32, $5.
32 and
Oh,
5.
05, that's what I got. I
Uh,
can recheck it if you want, but,
No,
and then minus the 20 for the grants, and that's 12.
It doesn't have this on the,
No, it's not filled in.
so it was,
I just did them at home.
what, we thought it was 20? We don't know, right?
What, that she got?
Yeah.
Yeah, she received them, but they went directly to,
What did she receive?
she claims 10 and 10. It's-
Okay,
It's
all
not
right.
there, but again, the receipts, I don't believe the receipts are there. I don't believe she has the survey with the stamp. And I don't know what else we're missing.
And these are all, again, just,
Yeah, just copies of what she paid out.
well, I think we need to reach out to her.
Yep, there's another one.
Same thing. Smith. Well, let's see. Probably that doesn't have it checked on the, unless this was an emergency repair. Maybe Becky Smith.
I don't know who did Becky Smith, but Meg, I don't know if Meg would know.
Yeah, Becky Smith was an emergency.
That's why she wouldn't have the green stamp.
Okay,
She
Well-
has a letter with a green stamp on it instead of a plan with a green stamp. It's a letter from the health department. And I believe that was sent to Catherine.
Yes. it's in the
Yes.
SharePoint file.
right. So I think she's okay to pay unless I'm missing something.
She has a well registry and all that stuff.
Catherine, does she have the well registry?
Yes, she does.
Septic
Yes.
registry
Yep.
and the little,
Yep,
Right.
license cemetery.
on the summary page. Okay.
So I think she's okay for the 16,000,
God, you added it up.
although,
What's the
yeah,
problem with you?
well-
I'm not adding this up.
although it's 16,000 that we provisioned, but I believe the total cost is $13,615.
Okay. All right, so then that would be the authorized amount, a motion to pay 13,000?
I'll make a motion.
I think Greg
Oh,
can second it. He can,
No, that's,
oh, no.
I don't want to take it. I bet he takes it.
I second.
Okay. Any further discussion on Ms. Smith's? I think that looks reasonable, and she has all the stuff, so let's vote to,
Okay? Thumbs up.
yes. I put number 5 on here, just as, has there been any discussion about our recommendation? I know that at the very tail end of the meeting last month, Al was bringing up, I guess he doesn't agree with that recommendation, I'd say. But was there any further discussion at the town board level about it? No?
No, we've been going through a lot of different
I
stuff.
guess you have. All right, well, we'll just
But did
keep tabs on it.
you miss
and-
anything in writing?
It
Yes.
was allowed. Yeah.
I'll go back and find it then.
We could maybe amend that and say, while the county is not providing any funds,
Well, that's not 100% true. They are doing for
Catastrophic.
catastrophic or,
Failures.
failing systems, right?
Right.
yeah, well, I'm just saying is that, that sadly, not enough systems are failing. We're going to make the 50 units per year. Sounds odd, unfortunately,
They're not.
not enough units have, not enough units have failed. So is it, could it be a suggestion that not a permanent change, but for the situation that we have where the county is not providing money, say, there's more buildings being built than there are failing systems, I think.
Well, I mean, that doesn't really address the underlying thought behind the recommendation was that if the work on the house is not increasing its use of water and production of effluent, then, we were suggesting that maybe that, the 25% as a blanket thing. I mean, I think where everybody's okay, sort of with, okay, if you tear down a 3-bedroom house and you build a new 3-bedroom house, that's got to put us, you're not going to get a grant. It doesn't make a lot of sense, but yeah, okay, fine, but it means, somebody's putting a new kitchen and they're redoing their bedroom to make it nicer and putting a bathroom in where there was maybe only one bathroom. I mean, that's not increasing the load on the property's producing. And that's where we were as a.
But it doesn't.
I understand Albert's position in saying that this is setting a precedent, but looking from our side, I mean, our job as a committee, and I think people as a whole want to see clean drinking water and, a clean surrounding water. And if they're going to start tying our hands down, I mean, we're already being limited by the fact that the county's not giving us money. And now they're saying, well, if you build 25%, we can't give you a grant. I mean, how many people can we really help at that point?
Well, I mean, I think Albert's point is, well, they're gonna have to pay for it anyway if we have that rule, or else they can't have their addition.
And if, to put in a new kitchen and to put a bathroom in and to paint the walls in the bedroom don't apply to this anyway, right? I mean, you're still, there's no, you're not going to be required. The statute as it stands wouldn't make people pay. It wouldn't be a mandatory thing because they wouldn't, unless Suffolk County says, hey, you got a screwed up system and we have to make a change here.
But I think at this point, we did our letter,
Right.
we talked about, although you left, so you missed the discussion at the end, but it's at the town board level now, so can you add that to the agenda? I know you have.
Yeah, no, who did the letter come from? Because I'm just trying to.
James.
Okay, I'm looking at more.
I'll find it and send it to you again.
I'll let you know if I find it.
Well, I guess it can wait another month, I suppose.
No, I mean, we don't have, there's not another issue that is burning at this moment. I mean, it started with that application that you had,
Yeah,
and that was.
and then discussion with the building department who,
You
highlighted.
said, no, you weren't eligible.
Yeah.
And then they were just saying that's what it is.
So it wasn't like they were saying that they even agree with it, they just said, there's something here that maybe you want to relook, so.
Is this coming from our building department because the county is?
No, it's a
that?
Shelter
No,
Island
it's a shelter.
regulation.
This is a Shelter Island only regulation? Okay.
It's just this is the year of the town boards going over code and possibly, relooking things, revising. It's just another nice thing to tackle, I think, at some point. But again, I don't think this is it's super urgent, but.
Yeah, it's sort of a catalyst. But
we find these things as we do these applications.
Right.
Sometimes we get the anomalies and then we're like, oh, this is a great example. This could come up again. And then we know what to do in the future.
Well, let's leave it out there,
I found it.
and
What's next?
what's next? Don't worry, I have a vested interest in moving along. We are going to, instead of having two sisters be bored with the rest of this, we'll go right to the Mananaca Creek Keepers grant request.
There was a letter that was sent.
We
as
did,
well.
I disseminated that letter.
Yeah, there too.
You guys want to say anything about it, or?
Well, I don't know if you've read it.
We've read it.
Do you have any questions?
Did we have any questions
David
about it?
Shanker is on line 2, who's one of our team, our science guy.
Mm-hmm.
Bill Nye, science guy.
So,
So the third system, what, you need the funds to get the third system.
Correct.
You didn't actually purchase it, now trying to get it.
correct.
That's.
No, we
Right.
were able to raise
You
enough
too.
money to set up the two last summer. We initially raised money for, and got one, which we put Mid Creek at our dock. And then during the course of the next couple of months, people were like, we really should get more, see if we can't get the other two, because 3 stations have been recommended by USGS, who we consulted with, to get a good range of what's happening in the creek.
I just realized, because we have people on Zoom, maybe you should identify yourself, just because I'm just thinking.
Okay,
The people on
Alice
Zoom.
Dupree.
Okay.
Okay, Menantic Creek Keepers. So then a number of people around the creek contributed additional funds, and we were able to set up a second station at the head of the creek at Mike Anglin's dock, probably midsummer. So we've been running those two. We ran them through till December. They don't run when it's freezing, so we pulled them and we'll start again late May, early June. And we'd like to have 3, the idea being to get, and since the dredging hasn't happened, we were really hoping dredging in Menantic Creek would happen. But what we'd like to see is what conditions we've got now. We've noticed huge, or at least large fluctuations in temperature, salinity, and dissolved oxygen, especially during the heat of the summer. Not surprising.
And can I ask, so the manpower is just the group of you?
Correct.
You guys are doing it yourself?
Correct.
You're doing- Okay.
Correct.
It's like a 3-person shower. Okay.
Four.
Okay.
Yeah, there's 4. Betty came once or twice, yeah. Yeah, so yes, we have to go, like, for a while, when the conditions are, there's a lot of algae growth and the equipment is fouling, we have to do it almost every week, so that we can clean everything in the early spring, early summer. And as things get better, gets cooler, we can let it go for a few weeks. But we basically break down the data by week. And so we've collected data basically June 1st through the end of November for this past year, and we want to do it again at all 3 stations, the third one being at the neck of the creek, for this year, prior to the dredging, and see how much better things get. We're hoping that we'll have increased flow and also start to look at what else we can do to improve the conditions in the creek as we start to identify, what's happening in different areas of it. The aquatic life in the creek is non-existent, I won't say that, it's minimal.
And I was curious, like the thing with PEP where they said it seemed like to me like they were, so I understand it correctly, they're starting this up where it's going to be shared data. So it's like, it's an app? It's an actual app?
It's going to be an app.
They didn't actually do it yet, but
No,
they're inviting you
They're
to be part
inviting
of
us
it.
to be a part of the team. They have 4 sites, one being Menantic Creek, another one being South Ferry, and then 2 over in North Haven and Sag Harbor, one in North Haven and Sag Harbor. So they're going to be 4 sites that they're going to be monitoring
So 2
with different groups, like USGS has the site at South Ferry.
Right.
And then I don't know who's doing the sites over there, but they're trying to pull this together so there's, a way to share data, see what's happening in all these different areas, and sort of see what's happening at the east end of the Peconic. And I believe they want to eventually expand the program west, but it's a starting point for them to do this.
How many members are in your group?
We have about 50 members of the Creek Keepers Association. We don't pay a membership fee, but that's how many people are on our mailing list and who have contributed and been part of it. We have about the 4 or 5 of us that actually do the hard work. We have a board of 5 members, because we actually did incorporate as a nonprofit late in the summer.
Have you contemplated starting a dues thing, or, like,
We need to discuss that, yes.
you could
yeah,
probably,
Yep. No, that could help with something.
defray some of the
Yes.
expenses.
It just-
I'm not saying, my personal feeling, I sort of, have a vested interest in these kind of things.
Yeah.
I think it's a great encouragement to people of Shelter Island to fix up where they live,
No,
I think it's a great thing, and it should be fostered, and I'm just thinking,
I think that's like something we'll be discussing. Everyone was so generous this past year that wasn't kind of the way we wanted to start it. it was amazing how generous people were, that we got the 2 stations going.
Mhm.
It was gratifying that there were that many people who were interested in care. So it's been a good thing. And, you know, we have a lot of people who are just interested too, so, yes.
Has PEP indicated, I mean, I thought they were so flush with money, that, have they indicated that they're happy
I've
to
asked them.
contribute?
I've asked them,
What are they doing with all this money?
yeah, no. I mean, they have a bunch of, they're all over the place.
No, I get it,
Yeah,
but,
yes.
At one point, Gobler was.
Gobler
was.
Yeah, they actually have kelp strands set up in the creek right now.
Oh, they
That they're
do?
trying to grow kelp right off of, between the docks in front of our house. And I hear it's maybe doing, some of it's doing okay, but it's sort of a test pilot program. They also have been taking samples, and that's part of the data that we will be sharing, but I've not yet gotten the results. They said at the end of the season, they would then start, you know, disseminating what they found, start letting us know, but I've not gotten that information back yet. I think they're spread all over the place as well.
It seems like you've been impressed a number of people that are, you know,
Yeah.
willing to.
I
Take
keep
you
going to their
under there.
meeting, you know, I keep
Yeah.
going to PEP's meetings and trying to like see where, you know, we can get something or at least get something together.
We are the Conics.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
They kept saying, well, we will have a grant program, but they haven't put it out there.
One of the things I think that we need to figure out how we want to handle as the terms of the board. This is a water quality improvement or an aquatic habitat restoration, I think would be the bucket.
Fresh pond.
Yeah.
It was like the first.
So, how much description and how much technical justification do we think that we want to, if we're going to set a precedent, because there could be, you know, this is the second one, and, you know, the letter that they sent over basically seems to have all the key information, I think.
right, no, it's. it's-
That being said, though, you know, it is not that you would have lied or put anything in here and made up names, you know.
Right.
Mr. Beelzebub down here on page 7, I don't know, but,
Okay.
you know, the Caitlin Cunningham, you know, if there's an email or if there's a letter, you know, saying, you know, this looks really swell and we'd like to, you know, if you can do this, you know, I have put my technical experience in and this works.
Can I add that what Greg is asking for is something that we did ask of the Fresh Pond Association, that you brought that up last
Yeah.
time. So like the science behind what these monitoring, you know, these 3 costs, well, sorry, the one that we're gonna fund, the third one, what it's actually gonna do and what's the science behind that. I think we need
Something from the Atlantic Peninsula Association. We know what you were thinking about doing, and we believe it's going to provide the information that we need in order for the aquatic habitat restoration. And maybe just just one page of the data, you know, just so we can say, okay, we know what the data look like.
The data is available on the town website.
Okay.
On
Under,
WAC's web.
okay, WAC, all right.
We did a PowerPoint presentation that we.
I remember
presented in
that, yes.
October. So that was several months of data that shows you what we've been doing.
All right.
But
Then
I
there's,
think it would be a good idea for them to submit that to us and.
Right.
just one page, not a whole lot, just, you know, just a page so we have it on record, and the document package that Catherine is going to put away someplace into some secret file and.
So you want,
So, you know,
you want some of the data? Is that what you?
yeah, just, here's what the data looks like.
What the scientific benefit is
Okay.
of doing this, you know, from
I mean, do you want something from
objective source, I think
Okay,
was
so you
what.
want something from Caitlin?
Yeah.
That's what you're.
So that's what Greg is
Yeah,
asking for.
We've been, actually, I've just been, got an email from her today, because we've been asking about, you know, is there a way we can do additional testing for nitrates and phosphates and that kind of thing? And it seems like that might be a little out of our skill level, above our, I mean, we can do sampling, but.
You can take the samples,
we can
but
do
somebody has to
samples,
test
But
it.
somebody else has to test them.
Nitrates are tough,
And
that's
the
a tough
equipment
test.
that they do use to monitor it is extremely expensive and, you know, that monitors continuously. So it may be like beyond what we really can do, but something we were talking about doing is like, you know, could we? So we had asked her for her, you know, thoughts on it. So,
Right.
but yeah, I can get her to, yeah.
And then a question for us, I think, and maybe Amber as well. They're asking for a grant and then they have the equipment. If the town bought the equipment, is there any benefit of doing that? There was no sales tax on the quote, which I guess they
Is there a
don't,
profit?
okay, because of nonprofit status, okay. And
Yeah,
Well, the question would be if a town bought it, what fund would that?
well, we wouldn't, well, then we could say, okay, here's the equipment's here, you know, and, you know, do what you need to do, you know, on that third site.
because we basically
the benefit?
And
Wait.
that's not what I'm recommending. It's like, okay, we should have looked at this, I
You know what I'm
believe.
saying, but what is the benefit? What's the upside of?
You know, and that's why, you know, I looked over here. Is there any benefit of us having?
And equipment keeper.
That's
Another piece of equipment for someone to keep track of.
Right.
I mean,
I mean, we have been working as a subcommittee to WAC.
Right.
You know, that's kind of the way this got set up with Joe working with us.
Yeah.
And us reporting data to him and to WAC. So then that's been the format.
there's no write down on it. That $2,000 is not gonna have a, okay, well, that's fine. That's, we talked about it and we discovered that, or determined that it doesn't need to be considered.
Right, so
That
we'll
being
hold
us
off
buying
on
it.
any decision-making until we get the, you know, the backup letter and whatnot. I mean, in concept, you know, my personal thought is that it seems like a great thing.
I'm impressed.
But I mean, you know, I would also, you know, things like this, you know, it's always good if you can, you know, like, oh, we've started a program of dues, you know?
Yeah.
And, you know, to say, you know, everybody's, you know, obviously the proof is in the, you know, you already have 2 stations that somebody paid for.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's the proof that you guys are putting your money where your mouth is.
Right.
So,
And we did that before we were really an organization.
right.
Right.
You know, the,
What's your timeline on wanting to get this installed? Just because this isn't part of the IA rebate program, which is kind of
The public hearing.
hearing, do we have to like set a public hearing, have the public hearing,
I
and
mean,
then approve it? So I just want to.
ideally, we would have them install them on June 1st.
Okay, we got time.
So that would mean, you know, we'd want to purchase them in May.
Okay, so, yeah, because if your next meeting is April 4th, then we can get it on for, let's see, we'll set the public hearing April 15th and then approve it, have the public hearing, and if there's no objections, approve it on May 6th. My birthday. You'll remember.
Well.
Happy birthday.
That would be so wonderful.
Yeah, just getting the timeline out there, so I know what I'm doing.
Okay, so wait a minute, let me write this down. April 4th is the next meeting?
Mhm.
Yes, it should.
We need
Okay,
a,
got it.
we need a motion.
No, I think we need to wait for the data.
We have to send it. So that's it, just the letter from
So
Kate.
if we approve at our next meeting, let's say,
As long as that timing is okay. You know, it sounds like it is.
so,
Did you want them to include the presentation that they gave to the WAC? Did we want to have that like officially part of their application package?
I think we probably, when we write the motion, we probably can say this, you know, this series of documents and the presentation made.
Maybe just send it all, if you don't mind.
Yeah. No,
We can keep it in our file too.
yeah. In fact, I almost sent it along with this, but then I thought, maybe that's more than, maybe that's too much.
No, that's good.
Okay.
thank you for coming in and
Thank you.
visiting with us.
Thank you.
Really does look like now it looks like
I'll get the stitches out on Monday.
good.
Thank you very much for all that.
Oh, yeah.
Thanks for being here. Yeah, really, thank you for.
Just like,
My gang, take care. Good night.
All right, so
Yes.
Waldbauer,
They know it's coming.
Flower, is that on the agenda?
that was a grant that we had given, right? Waldbauer?
Sounds familiar to me.
This-
Pardon me?
I think that was Denise, but yes.
Yeah, so they're coming back to us. There's, they were unaware about moving the well, but if we've given them the money already, right? Or they've just applied for the,
They were just approved for.
all right, so that was set aside already then.
So they have it, right?
So we really don't have to talk too much about it.
Which one are you on?
Waldbauer, she wrote a letter saying that all of a sudden she didn't realize that they had to move the well, but I think we already set aside the $4,000.
That's actually not on,
No?
is this on the agenda, James? Is this on the agenda? I don't see
Old
what.
Well,
business,
I-
is that what you just threw it in?
Old
It
business?
it sort of was supposed to be on the agenda, but it didn't make it on there.
Well, it could be old business.
Right,
That's what I was like wondering where you're looking.
Yeah.
I'm just jumping around.
I showed that the town, you guys approved this on September 7th, 12,000, town board approved it on October 31st, just 12,000.
All right, but we have been sort of
Setting aside.
unofficially setting aside $4,000 for these people, because a lot of the time like these people, they didn't know that they had to move their well.
We'll need to do a new resolution then, because I believe the contract would have gone out for just the 12,000.
You said it's listed as 12,000, right? So why didn't we do the 4?
I don't know.
Unless we made a mistake.
I'm not sure unless we weren't
Could have been
Completely
before
focused.
we,
focused on that.
yeah, exactly.
It's just that we began to focus on it when it became more of a regular thing.
Mhm.
And I can't quite remember if September was still in that timeframe.
Yeah, it's only, you guys approved like 10 different grants, only one of them had the 4,000 set aside for possible well relocation.
That was after that drought of grant approvals, right? And then there was a bunch of them that was done.
So what's the?
So we need to make a motion that we would to amend the grant.
Yes, to increase their grant for the 4,000 well relocation.
So none of you, did any of you guys see this letter?
No, I don't.
I don't, I don't recall.
Maybe it just
what
came
it is.
to you?
It did come to me, but it came through the committee as well, or through Catherine. So why don't I? Anyway, they have a house, Community Drive.
Oh, Betty, this is the one that we did jointly. You
Yeah,
were this
together.
one together. I just
Yeah.
found the paper. Okay, I remember this one.
So anyway, they, blah, blah, blah. Okay, so they had a best fit scenario. We submitted the best fit original plan of the town after further consultation with our engineers. Some residents and consideration for our family's future. Oh, I know, this is not the well thing. It is the well thing, but they also want to go to a bigger system. So
So they installed the system already and now they want to put in
I-
a bigger one?
no, I don't think they have. No.
Catherine, do you have a copy of this?
Yeah, I
Can you just
just
shoot over to me?
Sure.
I don't
I
have.
just sent it to you.
It's like an email back and forth.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if I'll be sharing on screen, but
No, I just want to see what she wrote, like.
So they're part and parcel to the well thing that they have to, because the best fit thing made them have to move their well.
Okay.
They want to go to Ascend 7. So I wrote back to the woman and said, we normally would, fund a well relocation up to $4,000. And we would pay for whatever the properly sized system for your current number of bedrooms. If you chose to add in a bigger system, bearing in mind that you can't do anything for 3 years, that's okay, but you're paying the difference in the amount. So, I don't think we care that much, as long as the person is aware that, yeah, you can put the bigger system in, which makes sense because down the road, why rip the system and put another system in? If they're thinking that possibly when they retire and they have grandkids, whatever else.
But I thought we approved, in order for us to give them money, the town to give them money, they had to have the system in with all the paperwork and yada,
Well,
yada,
they had to
yada.
have the design. They didn't have to have it in. We didn't give them the money. We approved the,
Oh, we didn't give, okay, I thought you said we gave them 12.
no, they were approved for a
Ah,
$12,000 grant.
Now they're coming for it.
So now, I don't even know, maybe they're in the process of doing it, but, I think they want to know if this well thing would be covered and what is the deal with going to a system that's oversized for the current conditions at the house.
Okay, so
Jay,
that's the well.
Yes,
To
yes,
it.
Joey.
did the moving up to Ascend 7 cause the well to have to be moved, or they just
No.
realized later in the design process?
It was,
Best
it
fit.
would have happened anyway. I mean, I don't know, Meg, can you speak to that or?
Their well was always non-compliant. It was too close to the system. So that's why they had to move it. They thought that they were far enough away, but then when the engineer started working on it, he was like, no, you're less than 150 feet. So the county asked them to move it.
Okay. So, and then subsequently, they thought about exchanging a Sen 7 for the Sen 5 that was originally,
No, the other way, 5, 7. Oh, yeah, 7.
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, they thought about it and they said that, a 5 would just cover what they had, and they thought that they should plan for any potential future use of the house. I guess they have kids that are getting ready to
They're
leave high
teenage
school.
kids, I
and-
think.
Yeah, and so they're just thinking down the line, kids will come home with girlfriends, wives, children, and they're planning on retiring here, so they're just planning for the future. They don't plan on doing any work anytime soon. They're just thinking, 10 years from now, they want to have it built in.
Okay. So, my thought is that this is something that we've sort of been doing all along. We maybe at that moment when we had that glut of approvals that we were doing, didn't focus on that so much, but
When you say that, you mean the.
Well.
Yeah, okay.
yeah.
So we would approve the 4,000 for the well, but not the extra cost to increase.
No, that's on her.
Fuji 7. That's,
Yeah. So, and that I've told her that.
okay,
So
Yes.
would there be a motion to do that?
yes, I.
Make a motion to amend the grant to include relocation of the well.
Well, except,
Yes, I'll second.
The relocation of the well and the regulation around the Sen 7? Is that in this motion?
No, I mean, I think we're only paying for the Sen 5.
We want to say that in this thing.
Engineer cited, so.
Well, no, because if they came to us, they'd have to make a new request to
Yeah,
have money,
okay.
and we're just not even dealing with that, so.
Well, even if they made a new request,
That's
if the engineer said you only need a Sen 5, for this house, but you want to put in a Sen 7, we still would not pay that extra cost.
Again, Meg, in your billing, can you delineate, the difference in cost between the Sen 5 and the Sen 7 so that we know that we're not paying for that? but they're paying for that, whatever that extra amount is?
Yeah, I can break that out.
All right, great.
All right, so both items are in the resolution that will speak to the. to the
Okay, that we again,
restrictions on what they're not getting out of the sense.
reiterating that we are only paying for the cost of Ascend 5,
Okay.
Fine with that.
right? And that's seconded. Any more discussion on that?
None from me.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, now the WQI project plan, which we can just start talking about right now. We have, as you recall, back in May, I believe it was, when we talked, BJ was, under the, I guess the CPF was under the gun to get, a project plan, and at that point, we were under that same auspices that, we're gonna, their project plan was including what we thought our project plan would be. But as I understand it now, we want a separate project plan for the WQI. Is that sort of the way we want it?
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, I went back, if you go back into that CPF plan, into Appendix F, it goes through, it begins with a bunch of the original legislation enabling, the 20% and all that stuff, and it goes through. But as you get towards the end of it, it gets specific about what we would do as a advisory board. And there's certain things since then, I believe have changed. If you look at,
So you're referencing Appendix X there?
F. Yep.
So what has changed?
Well, there was talk, about, it starts off number one, it talks about the IA systems. Number two, talks about a centralized septic, waste system in the center. I think we need to maybe amend that, exclude that, and perhaps put in something to the effect that to be amenable to funding the installation of IA systems at, town buildings. I don't know, if there's any.
I'm actually a little confused right now on the dates. Appendix F, there's an Appendix F, which has 9 items listed, and there's an Appendix F that says June 16, although it looks like it was amended on 2/15, and that only has 6 items. So I'm not sure.
I'm looking at the one with 9 items.
9 items, okay.
I mean, the point of this is, it's sort of a potential projects list, as in simplistic terms, I would say, right? Sort of, that's what we want, to give, so there's something to hang people's hats on, that these are things that this committee has considered as being within their bailiwick of things that they could entertain funding of.
Catherine forwarded the equivalent to this document.
Right. From
East Hampton
East
and
Hampton.
Southampton and East Hampton.
See those?
The East Hampton,
Separate person to.
You don't have plans.
East Hampton is 149 pages.
Yeah,
I know that.
And Southampton was a little bit less, but not much less.
Well, they have multiple millions of dollars more
Right.
in available funds to spend, and multiple people paid to watch over those funds, which we don't.
So what is being asked is, what are we supposed to do now? Why are we here?
We're supposed to bifurcate from we were under the Community Preservation Fund plan, right?
Yeah.
And what they're asking,
I think that has been accomplished. It's this thing that says draft 2/15/23, and it looks like it is about the wastewater program.
This is what I think happened.
Catherine just sent this over.
Yeah, you're looking at this It says appendix S, town resolutions 285, 286.
I didn't get
Is that the
that.
same thing?
I just went back.
I don't know, I just like the part of it, this year.
It's the regular one.
I mean, and that has a lot of boilerplate stuff in the beginning about the legislation that enables.
Today?
I printed the first page of it out.
Oh.
I mean, I thought, unless I must have understood. I thought
That was the beginning of Appendix F.
Wasn't the most important part of this, like, the proposals?
Yeah.
9.
The 9 things.
Yeah,
That's what it
But are
boiled down to.
they asking us to put, right now, this is under
They're asking us
the
to-
community
They're
fund.
asking us to give them a plan that we,
So that comes
that's
under
that's separate.
the WQI, yeah, right. So why can't we just cut that and paste
Yeah, let me
it?
We can, but I think we need to review the 9 items.
Amber just explained to me that, and I believe it's all of the documents that I have in front of me here are not the most recent version, right? That's right, it's
Yes.
saying?
Yeah.
At least I don't have it, maybe you all do, I don't know.
I just went back to the original thing that BJ was talking about and printed out the 9 points in the beginning of it.
Well, there's the whole appendix F, so I pulled the November 30th, 2023, that was the latest draft that I had of the CPF project plan. So then I just pulled out appendix F, which is,
But is that what we have in front of us, or is it Catherine
we may
copies?
have something shorter, so I'll get you all of these, but it's about 7 pages. Yes.
A lot of it has to do with the legislation.
Yeah, the enabling legislation. So BJ, she put this into just an appendix F, just kind of like it's part of this. I think what you want to do is just
Pull it out.
have a little verbiage to say, this is our enabling legislation. And then.
And the following is our,
Then this
plan,
is your
you know.
plan
I mean,
for the next-
the thing.
Appendix F,
Any-
right? It's still Appendix F.
It's still appendix F, but this is kind of like, it's awkward now that it's being pulled out of the rest of the document. So you want to have something that just says.
That's like a cover
Like a
thing.
statement,
Exactly,
yeah.
like this is where we started.
But I think we also need to review the 9 things because
Yes.
some of them have changed a bit. You know, for instance, I mean, the creek keepers could be added to that.
And it-
Well, we have
You know,
Congress
but-
number 3, so.
Yeah.
But I think, you know, we don't have we can't plan because we only respond. You know, but we can say what projects that we would like to entertain. But we can't plan on when they're gonna come and ask us for money.
No, and that's why you got the East Hampton and Southampton plans, just to look through to
Right.
say like, oh, here's ideas that somebody who has a planning, a full-fledged planning department, like, these are things they're considering in other towns. Is this something that might ever come to us that we would actually entertain?
Right.
So that's why you have that, just to see if there's anything that's glaring in this.
I thought we pretty much covered same kind of stuff. I didn't see anything.
The Manana Creek, creek keepers are now, like.
It's like Georgia Kappa.
But I mean, I think you could broadly say, groups, of islanders, coming, that may have remediation necessary for areas that they live in, maybe Shelterlands, for instance, has a nitrogen problem, right? I mean, that kind of thing.
Yeah, Silver Beach Association
you
attempted
know.
to do a grant for the North Brander Pond.
Right.
We were turned down, but we have our own little body of water that we're working on, so. So any sort of like general description like that.
Yeah.
But I mean, so maybe to take
Item 10 is,
Fresh Pond out and just say, in general,
Yeah.
areas of the island that, residents have a special interest in and have come up with a plan for remediation, that we would entertain.
Aquatic habitat.
And that's just one, but I think we need to review this 9-item list.
Okay.
We could all add to it, or, I may just, the thing that jumped out at me was the centralized.
one thing we have to do is figure out which item list should we all be working off. I think
Our 9 item.
Catherine has the.
Yeah, she'll send it out.
Yes.
That would be
Well-
I mean, can I just say the 9 kind of, it does look familiar. It looks to me
Yes,
like it's
yes,
probably,
and
that's
it's-
not the one I'm so worried about changing. I think the 9 looks correct. I'm looking at the same 9 things that I
Yeah,
recall.
and I think the 9 hasn't changed.
Okay.
I mean, it may have had editorial tweaks, but I didn't go back, I didn't go back to
Now,
February.
I have a number 6 too. I have a document that is six items on
In
it.
any case, I mean,
Okay, so maybe.
I would say, let's try and refine this. Be like, have a preamble to, appendix F, we'll take out appendix F as a thing and make this the WQI projects plan
Right.
that we're gonna submit. And as I understand it, this plan is not cut in stone. I mean, it can be amended yearly,
You can do other things, yes.
and if we find out there's a whole nother thing that we just haven't thought about, we can add it at any time, I guess. So, I mean, I think it's a guideline, to show people looking from the outside in what kind of things we might be doing.
Hey, if we can work it into to be 149 pages, we can say anything we
Then I'll
want.
turn it over to you. You can do it.
Yeah. Actually, it's actually,
No more than 140 pages.
Yeah.
Right? By next week, next month. Anyway, so if we all give this some thought and, Catherine gets us all on the same page with the same 9 items.
Right.
Then we'll talk about it again at our April meeting. Does that sound good?
sounds good.
Can I bring up one?
Yes, you may.
Small thing, and that is, I read in the East Hampton Press, and I'm not quite sure, but it looks like they're looking to increase the sales tax from 8.625 to 8.75%. I assume that's going to be on the next November
November ballot.
ballot. My only concern about this is that,
Is that for the housing thing?
No, this is for-
Sewer and septic.
Oh, okay.
Right.
This is the funding source that the county.
Okay, all right.
right, exactly. Except for, like, how does that affect us if part of that money is going to go through to sewers rather than IA? Because we don't really do many
No,
sewers, right?
it's kind of the way the county is just kind of splitting up the money, so the reason it failed the first time, and Meg has been involved in like meetings covering this, but since she's here as the public and not as a liaison, so I'll do the best I can. It failed the first time to even make it onto the ballot because Up Island they have more sewers, and so they wanted more of the money redirected that way. So the split, I think, was originally 80-20 or 70-30, so now it's 50-50. So the 50% that's going towards sewer will go Up Island, and then 50% will go towards IA, so the East End will have a decent benefit.
So is that going to decrease our funds, or?
No, it's gonna make the county able to give money, right?
Yeah, so right now.
Again, like
They're
on a
running
regular
out of
basis.
money already.
Well, they didn't
so-
have a renewable source of money.
Yeah.
That they had, fits
That's how
and
they
starts
got
of
the
money.
Initially, it was from a vote that was done like, what, 10 more years ago or something? It was on,
No, I think the
it's an
original.
old tax. It's an old tax that has been collecting for like decades, I thought. That's how we have the grant from the county anyway, originally, right? No one else remembers
No,
this?
like our money coming from CPF, you mean?
No, county.
The county funding of the
Yeah, the
IA
original
systems
IA thing came-
or just water quality
It's a
stuff.
very old fund, as far as I remember.
Something about that sounds familiar, but it didn't have direct funding for this, because I thought some of the county money came from a state grant that got pushed down. But
Anyway, but yeah, it's not.
All right.
there's going to be so much more information coming out as if they try and get this passed. So, but we want it to pass so we can.
So that was sort of
continue the IAs.
new business, right?
Yes, new business.
Okay. Going back a little bit of old business, the Cornell Cooperative Extension has asked us for another payment, which of 8,000 and change. But one thing I heard was at a work session, or maybe through the reporter. Kate had come and said, well, they were contemplating asking for more money from the WQI. When we gave them that grant, it was my understanding that they were going to have other sources funding going forward.
Right.
That is correct, yeah.
I just want to just keep tabs on that, that's all.
Well,
Yes, that's correct.
8,000
All
is.
right,
Yes.
Greg, out of here. And I have to follow close on his heels.
Does not be seen to be taking a hint. Wear the hat.
I get it. I was getting cold watching you, like. All right, I have to go as well, but I'm late I was late here, now I'm late again, so.
I'm late.
Important date.
All right, so do we?
We would ask for a motion to adjourn
Yes, definitely.
and
I
second.
second, yes.
We're all in favor.
All right.
Bye.
Thank everybody in the audience, both in the ether and here.
Okay.